Bobby Jeanette with Keyboard Magazine, here with Wayne Coyne from the Flaming Lips. So, just to talk for a short bit about, since this is Keyboard Magazine, the role of keyboards in music in general.
Yeah. Oh, you mean not just our music, just in general?
Yeah, I mean, you positively.
Well, I would say, for the non-musician, I put myself in the non-musician category, but they're always in tune, just so perfectly, like, I mean, sometimes I have electronic tuners, but sometimes if I have a guitar and it's out of tune, I mean, I even have trouble tuning it. I mean, I can struggle with it and get it here and there, but I mean, that's the beautiful thing. Sometimes our keyboards are already doing something.
Yeah.
It's already there. And of course, the unpredictable way that some of those old synthesizers work.
Sure.
You turn some knobs and suddenly it's kind of making. That's the funnest thing about a lot of that old gear is, it's hard to say whether you've created it or you were just standing in front of it.
And you happen to let it.
Yeah. Which is that's valid. Sure. The Shimmy Battles of Pink Robots. That's within this keyboard.
Yeah.
I forget what it is, but it's a great keyboard. It was cool at the time. It was, it was new. It had all these.
Roland, the EP 707.
I think so. Yeah. What I liked about it is it had beats on it, and I never really had done demos with beats. You're going to sit there by yourself and dick around with things. And again, you stumble upon sounds because there's 1,000 sounds. You just press a button and go and turn up distortion on it and stuff. And
that's awesome.
Yeah, so I mean, to me, that's a great way to get out of that simple way of doing the same song over and over. Because if you're a guitar player like me, I don't really know. I don't play very well, so I only know a few things. So even like sometimes Steven he'll tune up a guitar weird. I won't know what the chord structure will be.
Right.
But I know if I can do that and I play that, it sounds cool.
Right.
And he'll be like, well, those are some weird chords that you'd never play.
Right.
But you don't know what you're playing, so it's this weird tuning. So I think keyboards work a lot like that for me.
Cool.
Not just hitting things.
You guys started out as a guitar band.
Yeah.
At what point did you bring keyboards into the mix and have it start working?
I guess it was a couple records in before we. It's going to be like 1987 or something. I think we always liked. Of course, even if you like a group like the Beatles, I mean, there's pianos and keyboards and stuff, really all over that stuff. But when you think of them as being your group, a lot of it is based on their guitars. But later on, you see Paul McCartney's playing pianos and John Lennon's playing that white piano and all that. So you think we're not a keyboard band, we're a guitar band. But those things matter when you're young. You're trying to form an identity.
Sure.
And if it's you don't feel as though the whole thing is open to you, which it should be. It should be, anything is possible.
Sure.
But when you're young, it's like, no, it's only
kind of
a few things. Yeah. If you're lucky, you kind of get to do this thing that you think is so worth doing. And if you're like us, you get to do it for a long enough time that you think, this is boring, let's just do something else. I think it would be difficult if you never got a chance to do that thing, though.
Right.
So for us, those early days of being just this very amateur punk rock, do-it-yourself, freaky guitar group, we did that for a long time.
Was there a turning point, whether it be a record or a particular, song or tour that?
Yeah, well, I mean, we made this record. I think this was our third record we made. Flaming Lips. Oh my God, the Flaming Lips. And we would do these tracks on there that had pianos and some weird keyboards. We were always using sort of fake stringy things, but in the '80s, those weren't nearly as cool as they are now. But then, like I said, you stumble upon these things that almost the less you are able to play, the more fascinating they are, because really you're just pressing two buttons and it sounds phenomenal. So I think it was probably later in the '80s. Probably by the time we made this record, Pre-Striven Ambulance, in like 1980.
Great title.
Thank you. Yeah. It is a great title. And by then we were working with Dave Fridman, our producer, and we had another guitar player in the band, Jonathan Donahue, and I think that's why you always run into weirdos, because they just have a whole other view of things.
Sure.
And sometimes you see people, we'd run into people that are playing keyboards, but they wouldn't think they're a keyboard group, And we'd go, well, they don't have a hang-up about that. And that's us, always having, or me particularly, having a hang-up about what does it mean? What does it mean?
So musically, when you had, when Do You Realize kind of took off, how much did that change the band in the public eye?
Well, I mean, it didn't take off all at once, I mean, it starts off that, your people like this song, but they also like, a lot of that record and a lot of what we were doing. And so I think it's been an accumulative sort of thing where we've embraced the song. Of course, even when we play it, we treat it like this is the great song you've been waiting for. And it's not always the case, but I mean, most nights it is the case. And so, you know, by us embracing this, the meaning of it, I think it's made it even more like that.
Awesome.
And then it's used in it's been used in commercials and movies and things. And so I think, you know, little by little, it's that accumulation of this song. So I don't think I don't think it occurred to us that it changed this. We knew that people were gravitating towards it, but we also know it has that lyric in it, that do you realize everyone you know someday will die. So we knew that if they latched onto that, that's a great, what we call flaming lip-ism. You know, that's something that we could sing, and you know, it might be hard for Lady Gaga or someone to sing that and have it be such a honest thing. I mean, I think other people could sing it, but it might be looked at as being
definitely. You guys come from a place of honesty because your music is not calculated in any way as far as So you know, when that came out, your fans weren't like, oh, they've sold out. They were like, this is
I don't know. Expression. I mean, all those things. You struggle with all those things. I mean, I think any time that you have a record that's popular, you gain some people and you lose some people, but you do anyway. I mean, I think just by sheer boredom, I think people just have enough of a group and say, see you later. So I don't know. I mean, I think the best thing that we can do is just to do what we want.
Yeah, that's important though. Being not afraid to fail. There was an article years ago on Keyboard entitled "Dare to Suck." I always love that because you really do have to be as fearless as possible. Risk 100% failure in order to move forward sometimes.
Well, but that's what art should be about. I mean, you know, we don't really want to applaud people who have cautiously calculated the exact thing to say. I mean, the people we like the most are the people just speak their mind. And if they say something bad, they say, I'm sorry, and, you know, we move on. I mean, I think we're lucky that we have to move at such a fast, everything is going. And so if you've set aside, you know, this morning to do some music together, you have to do it. I mean, if you're lucky, you can quickly get new ideas and reject ideas and say, oh, I like this, I like that. Or, I mean, the way that Steven and I work, I mean, we're always kind of creating stuff anyway. You know, like long before there's a panic need, you're just kind of fucking around,
making stuff up.
And the time you have here is like, oh, because you just like doing that. And if you don't like doing that, you don't accumulate stuff. I don't even think they're even any good. They're just things that we do. But then later you hear them and there's little nuances and little quirks because you're, like you said, you're free. You're not really worried about even being in time or being in key. And sometimes you know, someone like me, I'll hit things just simply because I like the way they sound. And Steven will be like, oh, you hit that, and maybe this diminished chord, and then you go to that, and it'll resonate of musicality or something. But I'm not really coming at it from that. I'm just listening.
That's awesome.
Like it right now. And we seem to have this endless curiosity about the thing you're doing, the thing I'm doing. So
endless curiosity. I like that.
Well, I mean, that's a good thing. I mean, I think without that searching quality, I think it would be. I mean, there's so much music out there, this sort of stuff. I mean, I don't know what you could make of it if you weren't really curious about what the world is. Not just about music, really about everything.
You ever see yourself as learning more like music theory, so to speak, or do you like the mystery of it?
Well, I'm 50 years old. I suppose, you know, if I really cared, wouldn't I learn by now? No, I mean, I don't think about it like that. But I don't intuitively hear music like that. You know, I mean, I can't really discern. You know, a note that's sharp or flat. I mean, you can tell it by the way I sing. I'm kind of like, you know. But a lot of music is made like that. A lot of people make music, and they're just weirdos who make their thing.
Indeed.
So I'm lucky. Well, cool.
Thank you for making your thing.
Of course. Appreciate it.